Welcome to a brand new episode of Sequel Rights, the podcast where we take a look at the franchise that makes you go, or franchises that make you go, they made how many of those? We give each and every sequel a fair trial.
Spoiler alert, they've all been part of the same franchise.
We're only looking at one franchise. That's the John Negroni theory.
Yeah.
My name is Justin Camps, and I'm here with...
Elizabeth Helly.
And?
Me, Ted.
Wait, no. What did you say?
You're Ted?
Me, Tyler.
What did you say? Did he say me Tyler?
Me, Tyler.
Oh, I think his name is Me Tyler. Me Tyler. Oh, God.
Seeing as nobody has ever seen this movie, that joke will land.
Yeah, hopefully
at all.
you guys watch this one, because I've never heard anyone reference this film.
I wish upon nobody to watch this film.
Yeah, just let us take you on a journey.
Yeah, pause the podcast, go watch this movie.
Do not
come back. You're gonna want to hear our thoughts on Meatballs Part II,
which it really should be called Second Helping.
Once again, us putting more effort into the marketing than the people that made this movie.
Or a subtitle that made it seem like it had nothing at all to do with the first film, because it doesn't. This might as well be called like Calzone.
Yeah, it's not like Hostel Part 2 or whatever, where it like picks up after the last one.
Yeah, okay, we'll get into it.
Yeah, but this one comes to us from the great year of 1984.
This summer, return to a real hot spot.
I know a place where the four of us can go and
meet new people, breathe fresh air, enjoy water sports, fall in love.
I love you.
Bring the kids. Come back. The insanity continues. Meatballs Part II, rated PG.
Now playing at a theater near you.
Would you bring your children to see this movie?
No.
I wouldn't bring anybody to see this movie. Like, I wouldn't not bring my children, because there's only nothing even that bad.
You don't want to
to
see the insanity continue?
It's like, you know how in The Good Place, there's that one woman stuck in the medium place, and all she has to watch is Cannonball Run Part 2? I feel like that this movie is like the 1A to that VHS tape. It could have been this movie.
Well, apparently, according to the writers, that this movie got open watered, and it was like completely made, and then the studio was like, Meatballs Part 2, and the creator was like, what? And then that was it. Like, so that's why it has not even like a wink or a nod towards the original.
Yeah, not even the same camp.
No, everything is different, sadly. Everything is different, but lucky for us, we get to start off the movie with a brand new song about summer. This one's called We've Been Waiting for the Summer. And it's pretty much like typical 80s Jake Giles band type Back to the Future song.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you guys like it? Is it better than... Did you like it better than
well,
Are You Ready for the
like
Summer?
Not as annoying, because it's not like little children at a really high pitch, but it was pretty forgettable. The other one, it was definitely catchier.
I've already forgot it.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you right now how it goes.
For those of you who might be wondering how it goes... I really enjoyed the lyrics to the song.
Okay.
So I feel like...
Read them dramatically
we
to
need
me.
a dramatic reading.
Okay.
Are you going to put them in your AIM away message?
Yes.
Okay.
Right before I leave for summer vacation. And there's going to be little twinkly stars and stuff.
Good.
Too. All right, you guys ready for this? A dramatic reading of We've Been Waiting for the Summer. The theme to Meatballs Part II. We've been waiting for the summer all year long. We've been waiting for the summer to sing this song about the swimming and the women and the funnin' and the sunnin' in the sun. I'm trying to be serious. We've been waiting for the summer to get unstressed from the cramming and examine. Gotta take a rest. Waiting patient for the summer, and now the waiting's done. But there's still more. Hold on. We're going to sleep late. We're going to play. We're going to dance the days away. At night, when the summer stars come out, we're going to do what it's all about. I wonder what they mean there. We've been waiting for the summer to hit the beach. No more apples for the teacher. Gonna eat a peach.
That was my favorite line.
Give a sunshine cheer, because a super fine summer is here. Yay, I'll take my roses now.
Clap, 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 clap,
I'm just
clap.
kidding. I wonder what you guys think a sunshine cheer is.
I think it's when the sun dumps 2 scoops of raisins on your head.
Or like,
he goes, go you!
or like the sun from Teletubbies. Like that's what I'm imagining.
The baby sun?
Yeah.
The baby sun.
What do you think that baby's up to now?
Child start checking.
Now I want to look that up badly.
What do you think those 13 babies are up to now? I don't know.
Welcome to our new documentary podcast, The 13 Babies of the Teletubby Sun.
Don't tempt me.
I was going to ask you guys to give your best sunshine cheer real quick, but I'm not going to do it. We can move on from the song. This amazing song.
I like the idea
It's the only song in the movie.
of no apples for teacher, and then you just take it away, and then you just aggressively eat a peach while staring at your teacher.
Yeah, I don't understand the. I don't understand. They're like they've been like dealing with apples all year. They're like, fuck it, I want to eat something other than an apple.
It's probably because peaches look like butts.
Yeah,
Or they're a summer fruit, but
I guess
that's a song that rhymes sunnin' with sun.
the the opening like stanza of this song is so ridiculous. Because they sing it so fast, it just sounds like they're going punnin' in the nunnin' in the hunnin' in the bunnin', but it's like the funnin' and the sunnin' in the sun.
Funnin' in the sunnin' in
It's
the
like
sun.
it's terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, whoever wrote this song. I looked your name up and I already forgot.
Oh man. Well, they start on the bus.
Pee-wee's driving.
Pee-wee is driving.
Paul Reubens getting first billing in this movie, even though he does barely anything.
He is in this scene pretty much.
Yeah, but actually he was one of the only actors that didn't like aggressively annoy me. Like I felt like he was actually good in this movie for the very small part that he has.
I thought that like, okay, you're gonna go Bill Murray for Paul Reubens, like it's a downgrade.
Oh, that would have been great.
But okay, like I totally see that makes sense to me. Like he's gonna be the main like counselor type of thing, and like nope, like he's kind of a shrill asshole.
Yeah. He's just weird, and he's in like 3 scenes.
Yes.
He's like the bus driver from The Simpsons,
He is.
or even the bus drivers from South Park.
Like
one
all,
of those, yeah.
all the kids are like yelling and stuff, and he just pops up and he's like, you all better stop! I'm gonna kill us all because he just stops driving the bus basically.
Yeah, while it's in motion,
Yeah.
which I thought that was a fun little
That is
gag.
kind of like the one from South Park, actually, too. I immediately noticed when we opened in the bus that one good thing that this movie does that the last one didn't is that we finally have campers of color.
Yeah.
Yay!
Now, they're not the main character or anything. Let's not get crazy. Okay, we can't go any
Sure.
riskier than Italian. But they are there in the background and as a few side characters.
Yeah. But I feel like there's so many other things that happen in this movie that just wash all of that
away. Yeah, away.
into the
True, but
best.
I just wanted to...
Especially their euphemisms for genitalia.
This movie is basically like stereotypes and insensitive jokes. The movie.
Yeah, it gets just awful.
Also, some other movies that were popular around this time. Let's put them in here for some reason.
I love that the beginning of this movie. This has happened, I'm sure, to all of you guys on the way to school or something. Like the police pull over your bus,
Yes.
and they say, "Hey, this guy who just got out of jail's got to go to school with you today. It's part of his thing."
And what's his name?
His name is Flash. And I love that it was like Flash was pulling a Tyler from last
Yes,
week.
I loved that part. I wrote
He was
that
like,
down too.
"Yo, what's a CIT? What does that even mean? What does that mean anyways?" And I was like, "Tyler, did you even watch the movie?"
Yeah. I was like, it's Tyler.
Yeah.
Also,
Guys, I thought the same thing. And I was like, oh, I sound like this idiot.
Also, like one of his very first lines is so funny. Not the first one, but the one when he's on the bus talking to his friend, and his friend's like, "Hey, man, what you been doing? What you been doing?" And he's like, "Time." And that's exactly how he's like, "Time." Like he's totally cool saying it. And I was just like, oh god, the acting.
He's such a like Italian greaser stereotype.
Yeah.
Like he's not capable of wearing a full length cap sleeve. Like he's got like
He's allergic to sleeves.
And they've all got the accent like, hey, hey, I was doing time, hey.
Hey, Jamoke.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Oh, man.
Really bad. So the song plays. The song we all love plays. It stops for a little police interlude, and then it kicks back up as they arrive at Camp Sasquatch. Is that right?
Yep, Camp Sasquatch.
Camp Sasquatch.
Where kids are kids.
Yep, exactly.
Except
Kinda
for
like
Flash,
Chuck E.
who's
Cheese's.
a 35-year-old man.
And we get all these weird insert shots of the camp director who is clearly not there in that same scene, waving at kids from a different location.
And we get to meet fun campers like Wheels, the boy in a wheelchair.
We forgot. On the way, they
race a ECV like wheelchair in the freeway or the highway.
Paul Reubens is like, I can take him. And this was really strange because it looks like a grown-ass man in that chair. And then when you get out in close-up, you see it's a child.
Yes.
Very shocking.
This kid, he's a daredevil. He's a daredevil in a wheelchair.
I guess, and that's just his regular chair.
That's just his regular chair. And then we don't see him for most of the rest of the movie.
Well, I was really struggling to find like positive things about this movie.
Sure.
So another thing that I will say is about the treatment of the kid wheelchair, which is his actual nickname as listed in IMDb. His name is Tommy Wheelchair in quotes and last name whatever. But the camp director comes up to him and goes like, so are you that one kid? And he's like, how many kids do you got in wheelchairs? And the camp director's like, that's not unfunny. And then they like razz each other a little bit. And after that, no one mentions really that he's in a wheelchair. Like as far as the other kids in the cabin go, and with the counselor Flash, it's like a non-issue. It gets a little crazy at the end, but
he even forgets he's in a wheelchair.
Yes, but they treat him completely normally, and that is nice.
This is 2 series in a row where somebody has to learn how to walk in order to advance the plot.
Yeah, I don't know why he was in a wheelchair, but at the very least, they didn't treat him like a piece of shit the way that everyone treated that girl in Child's Play. Ooh, she's in a wheelchair. She must be a mass murderer.
You can't make dinner?
Yeah. Oh man, this movie is really weird because it introduces this kid and sets him up like he's going to be the main character. Like,
the main character of the kids, at least.
Like, well, we were like, oh, this is our Rudy. Like, we're going to follow this kid through the movie, and he, like Tyler says, totally disappears, and no one cares about him.
Yeah,
basically the entire movie.
We get a Who's on First bit with 2 twins.
This is maybe the best part of the movie.
It really is.
The parents saying goodbye to their kids.
Yeah,
there's actually some funny jokes in here.
Yeah.
The Who's on First thing was funny because it ends and like it keeps going and going, and they're like, "No, she's not your no, I'm not your dad. I'm your mom," and all this stuff, and then it ends with her going like, "No, he's not your father," and then everyone's like, "Oh, wait,"
because the twins are named like Barry and Larry, or something.
Of course.
It's like, I'm not Barry, he's Barry.
And also,
I'm
even though
Gary.
they are supposedly actually twins, they don't really look alike.
No.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
think that they're identical.
They weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. And then there's
They were easily distinguishable.
there's this other girl that's like getting a lecture from her mom as they say goodbye, and she's like, "Now don't forget to write home, dear." And she's like, "Mom, you're living my life for me." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "These postcards are already written," which I thought was kind of funny.
This mom and daughter thing was probably my favorite scene in the entire movie because it cuts back to it every couple of minutes, and the second time I go back to it, she says like, "No, don't do any drugs." And she's like, "But what if I just want to experiment with some weed?" She's like, "Well, don't pay for it."
Yeah, it was so weird because like this part of the movie was actually kind of funny, and like the way it was happening made me feel like, oh, they got like some writer who failed to write the jokes for Airplane, but kind of had the right vibe,
Right.
and brought it in here. And I was like, oh, maybe this movie will actually have some funny parts. And then it didn't, but that was sadly about the only part.
It's like that last ray of light before the door slams on the basement.
There's
You're
actually
like, oh no.
There's actually one other funny part of child abuse that I thought was hilarious, even though it's child abuse. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, and I did like the mother and daughter's last joke, which is like, don't sleep with any boys or whatever. It's just like, well, why not? What's wrong with that? She's like, they never want it when you want it.
Yeah, they only want one thing. Well, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
They never want it when you want it.
That was a solid joke.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So yeah. So then we meet the other camp who is not just rich this time, but they're military guys.
It's like Camp Patton or something
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
that.
something
Where
dumb.
outdoor living molds killers is what it says on the sign.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, okay.
Which I was like, at least they're being honest.
Yeah. And this is where, like, yeah, you see this introduction. These kids are at basically like a boot camp, and they're like learning to bayonet people
Right.
and stuff. And there's this like head colonel or whatever, and as he's walking into his like office, there's these kids outside the office practicing karate, and the one kid like goes to attack him, and he just goes, yeah, and, like knocks him to the ground, and the kid falls like flat in his face, and it looks so ridiculous. I mean, obviously, like, this is awful. You don't want to be hitting children, but the way it played out in the show, the movie was so over the top. I just like laughed for that moment, and it was like, that was awful, but I laughed.
That
I'm sorry.
grown man just kicked the shit out of that little boy.
He's probably totally knocked out. Yeah. But yeah, anyways,
Well, and I
everything
hate
at
to
that camp
be
was awful.
massively predictable, but this is exactly where the movie completely loses me because we meet the character played by John Larroquette. He's like Sergeant something or other.
Foxglove.
Sergeant Felix Foxglove, right? Yeah. And he is awful. I don't know how to even describe it. It's like the worst, most unfunny stereotype of a gay man in the 80s that you've like ever seen.
It's like what someone would be like after they first found out people were gay. Like, they might be like, this is what they're like, right?
Yeah.
It's
He's
really bad.
Constantly
It's so
like
bad.
flouncing like the limp wrist kind of movements around. He has a closet full of dresses because, of course, all gay men just want to also wear dresses. He reads like a porn magazine at
was
some
reading
point.
Vogue.
Yeah. Oh, was it Vogue? I didn't
Yeah.
even see. But he covers it up from the other guy. And so then the head guy is massively homophobic. And there's a couple of times where Foxglove will say something in the background and the other guy in charge will be like, I heard a lisp, oh my god, like we got to do something about this, and then the guy will talk in a normal voice after that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say it, but he even uses like, gay slurs when he says, he's like, I don't like that whatever crap, when he says that first time he's looking for a lisp.
Does he say the F word?
No, he says the H word.
Oh yeah, and they
I
also
mean,
say
yeah.
fruit a lot,
Yeah.
which is not a bad word. So
They
we'll
say lots
but
of,
they say fruits many
I just
times.
don't want to be repeating that
Yeah.
in the same way the movie does. Yeah, it's really bad. And then there was like a weird, like they do it a second time in his office, and then he like the colonel guy also makes a lisp, and they do a weird like look at the camera. You remember this?
Yes.
Or like I was like, are they implying that it's rubbing off on him or something? Like it was just super weird. This whole thing.
It is horrible. The portrayal was like awful, and I was like, was this an acting decision? Was this in the script? Like, I don't know. Like, I tried to do a bunch of research on like John Larroquette to find out if he's just like a hateful, awful person, or if maybe they like made him do this. I don't know. He's like super libertarian, but he's played other homophobic characters, but he's also played gay characters who weren't that bad, and like he's worked with other like gay actors that are like recently that are respected, like Eric McCormick or whatever. I don't know. I tweeted at him and I was like, looking back, what did you think about your character in Meatballs Part II?
Oh yeah, he's totally gonna
So
respond.
we'll
to that.
see. I'm sure he will
see.
respond.
Well, we're standing by. So
I mean, how many tweets is he really getting? Come on.
Yeah, fair.
he has a whole fan group, the Larroquettes. And
It's just awful. This whole thing is awful.
it's really bad. And so you think, okay, well now we're locked into like under like a dodgeball type story where it's like underdog kids, military kids, we're gonna go against each other.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, so they have an annual boxing match.
Right.
Camp of the Lake.
And then some the Indians are gonna sell the lake. There's
Oh,
a
boy.
Native American tribe that is just
boy.
like, it's a Mexican guy, first of all.
Yeah.
But this Mexican guy played Native Americans many, many times.
Yes. I was like, he looks familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's gonna sell the lake to the military camp for money.
Right.
Yeah, not before, splouting off a bunch of more stereotypes and awful things in his one scene that he has.
Yeah, they do how and they do all sorts of stupid
And he
shit.
does, the Colonel has like one of those horrible jokes that I'm not even going to repeat. It's just terrible. It's terrible. If you watch it, you know what I'm talking about. And he laughs like it's the funniest thing.
This is the part of the movie where the movie loses confidence in itself in terms of the story it's trying to tell. And it's just like, what's popular? What else is happening right now? And it's like, Rocky. And what else? E.T. E.T. Both they're big movies.
Let me tell you what's happening here. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's set this up.
Okay.
Everyone at the camp has got all settled. We meet the other camp. Now suddenly it's nighttime. You're like, we're gonna get a nice night scene at the camp.
Yeah.
We're looking at the lake. We see the camp in the distance. Oh, it looks pretty. Then all of a sudden, out of fucking nowhere, a UFO, like a giant fucking fake looking UFO, comes over the trees, and I'm sitting there watching this movie like, what the fuck is happening?
It was like, are you serious?
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, maybe this is about to get good.
Yeah, and this UFO, it actually looks kind of cool, like they made a prop or something. And it comes out and it zooms up at the screen like you're watching a 3D movie, comes all the way at you and then zooms back. And there's a full alien.
It's in the
scene.
forest. It's very Close Encounters-y with the lights flying around, which is fine. But yeah, then
except for the Jewish stereotypes that emerge from the ship.
I was like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
Why is this alien like a Jewish grandpa?
Because I think it's a direct dig at Spielberg.
I hope not.
God,
it's just
really?
awful.
I thought they were just looking for like an
not even
overbearing
funny.
parent trope, like Kyle's mom or something.
Yeah, I think
I don't
it's
know.
just bad.
I read it the other way and I was like, ooh.
He says, it's just
So basically, these alien parents are just dropping their kid off at a human
At Earth
summer
camp.
camp. So that he can get his
Earth
inner
merit
space
badge.
merit badge
Yeah.
or whatever.
And they just leave him in the woods with a raincoat so that the people don't have to build his whole body for the entire movie.
Yeah, and they act like this is totally normal. Like, you're gonna love this camp. Yeah, people come here all the time, kind of thing. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, you didn't have aliens at your summer camp?
No.
Yeah.
Must have gone to a bad one.
I think if aliens were at my summer camp, people would have noticed.
So we only get one cabin of young boys that's run by Flash.
Yeah.
And then we have the cabin of girl counselors. The main character of which is Kim Richards, who is on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills now.
Who the entire movie I was like, she's an alien for sure.
Yeah.
Because
Well, yeah.
she makes no sense in this movie.
I guess it was supposed to be like a joke about how she was in the Escape to Witch Mountain movies. She starred in those movies.
Yeah.
As a little kid. And so in the beginning, when the other girl asks her, like, what are you from another planet? She says, like,
Right.
kind of, or whatever,
I
I
guess
guess
that makes
that's
sense.
supposed to be a joke. But yeah, it doesn't connect to the other alien.
It's so weird. She's very strange throughout this whole movie.
It's like they're trying to act like she's homeschooled or something. She doesn't
Yeah.
know what a dick is. She doesn't know, like, anything.
Or a pinky,
Yeah.
as they insist on calling it.
Oh God, that made me so sick.
Yeah.
I thought that was really gross. They keep saying like the whole movie they refer to dicks as pinkies.
Yeah.
And
Because there's
just the
only
way-
white dicks.
The way the way they say it is just so
Yeah, even that's problematic.
yeah. It's just really like infantile and weird, and it just kind of grossed me out that it was like just say dick. Like
Yeah.
I guess it's PG,
Like
so
wiener or
Yeah,
like
like
PP or anything.
pinky
Like,
just made it. It was just like ew. It was just like a gross word to
Yeah, and it's
describe
like,
a
you've never seen a pinky?
Yeah, and they're like, we're gonna make her get a pinky, and it's like, what the stop
like,
it.
was that a common
I hope not.
thing? Like, I know what they were talking about because of the context, but I'm like, I don't think I've heard
If
that.
you're stuck in the 80s, give us a call right now. The
Now,
number
yeah.
is 225-555-5555. That might be a real number.
It could be.
Except I think I said two.
What is it? 1-800-SPANK-ME from the Santa Claus movie.
Oh God, I just really didn't. That it was like making me cringe throughout the movie. That
I haven't watched it yet. This is completely off topic, but apparently there's a phone number that you can call from this season of the season 3 of Stranger Things that's embedded in there that has some story content.
I should find it.
Hot tip.
Hot tip. Have you ever looked at pinkies in the magazine? Ty?
Oh, no, but I would say a hot tip is probably a better phrase than pinky.
It's just so weird. It was very strange. And the like also, head female counselor is like obsessed with making sure nobody sees any pinkies.
Yeah, yet her and her boyfriend keep trying to find places to like have sex where no one's gonna walk in on them.
This is another of the.
It's a recurring gag.
Another
that's
of
not very funny.
Terrible. There's so many terrible recurring gags in this movie, and that is one of them. That is just really dumb.
Let's run through all the ways that their lovemaking gets foiled.
Apparently, she is so freaked out about getting caught even kissing someone.
Right.
Like, it's just really strange.
Well, and he's also unable to see her as a human person, and so he keeps referring to her in the plural, like, for her boobs.
Yeah.
And she's always
like, but I really love them. And he's like, oh, fuck.
I love you. Yeah. And then she like slaps him, or he says like, I know somewhere that just the four of us can be alone. And she's like, what the hell? Like, I mean, the two of us, like, and I still don't know what the fourth thing is.
Like him, the two boobs, and
pinky
her.
And the brain.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I guess. I don't know.
No.
Just dumb. They try to get it out in the woods, and they think there's a bear.
There's a whole like Mulan skinny dipping, like bear hijinks scene happening.
They try to make out in a closet, and they get caught.
Yeah.
Poor girl just gets caught everywhere.
Yeah.
And apparently, they got caught like last summer, and everyone was taking photos. That was the main.
That was the main thing,
which I guess would make sense.
And so, Camp Sasquatch is being run by Coach Giddy, who is apparently just a boxing coach.
I guess.
I mean, yeah, he's like supposed to look like the guy from Rocky, right?
He's just like an old man, and he's not much of a camp counselor. Actually, okay, yeah. So, he's head of this camp. He has a rivalry with the colonel, whatever. There is one joke in this that I find kind of funny. There's a French cook.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Who
I did not like this either. But go ahead.
I like the idea of like Coach Giddy comes in and yells at him like, "Don't make anything fancy," like, and so it seemed like that he was making like creme brulees and things like that. But then it just devolves into like he keeps trying to kill horses.
Yeah, he's getting the delivery from like Bison Steakhouse or whatever, and it's like it's just like this weird scene when
it's a fake plastic horse.
Yeah, the colonel is like arguing with Giddy, and in the side he's just like trying to load a horse onto a gurney. It's like fucking weird.
And then later he sees the chef like petting his horse.
Yeah,
so weird.
Yeah,
so weird. And he's like, this is like stereotypical French guy, like, oh, I'm cooking, oh. And he's like this fat dude eating hot dogs later. It's just so stupid. And
so dumb.
It makes no sense.
And then Paul, like, okay, so Giddy is going to sell his land on the camp to like some hippie tribe, and that makes the colonel mad.
The Hare Krishnas.
Yeah, but it was Paul Reubens,
it was
right?
Paul
So
Reubens,
it was totally fake, right? Yeah.
Who comes in like a Dalai Lama kind of robe and then tells the colonel that he loves him, and the colonel freaks out because gay.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, no, you can't. Well, yeah, because yeah. Also, the colonel has allegedly ordered a submarine for the lake.
He's a religious bigot and also homophobic. Yeah.
Right.
By the way, that actor was like in a weird kind of like Kabbalah, Scientology kind of religion.
Yikes.
Like not cult, but I don't know what some sort of weird doctrine that he was like super into. So.
Good for way too
good for him.
Way to portray your beliefs on screen.
Yeah.
So it all leads up to this whole like they're gonna bet lake versus camp at the Champ of the Lake.
Lake Champlain.
Lake Champlain. But that's at the end of the movie. First, we got to talk more about this alien.
We didn't get to his name.
We hear it. Yeah,
we joked about it in the beginning.
We hear the alien family in the beginning. Their first scene talking full on English, no problem.
Yeah.
When we meet the alien, when the kids discover the alien,
yeah,
he can't speak, or he says first something in a different language, and then suddenly he acts like he's learning to speak English.
Right.
The one kid goes, "Me, Ted. What's your name?" And clearly, to anyone who's paying a fuck attention, the alien just repeats him and says, "Me, Ted." And the one kid goes, "Did he say me, Ted?" And then he goes, Meathead. And then...
His name's fucking Meathead.
Yeah, I think his name is Meathead. Hey, so Meathead, where are you from? Are you from space? What I was going to say, I was like, the movie before anything, at the very beginning, opens up like a space production. And I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, what a dumb studio name. That's so stupid. A space production? That sounds hilarious. How did I know, how wrong I was?
Yes.
Like, it makes sense. It all makes sense.
Let me put in some child star check-ins, because if I don't start doling them out, we're going to be here all
That's
night.
true. Throw him in.
Yeah, so Ted of Meat Ted was like the kid with the freckles, Chad Sheets, and he did a few more movies, but then he died at age 26 of colon cancer.
Yikes. Sorry,
Yeah.
Chad.
And then some of the other boys in the cabin.
Moving right along.
We've got Butterball, Scott Neems, who's like kind of the chubbier kid. He's not really that chubby, but seriously, as of 8 hours ago, according to Deadline, he's just been named the Executive Vice President of Development and Current Programming at Universal Content Productions. He's
Holy
the
shit.
executive
1440?
No, sadly no. It's they handle certain TV shows for NBC Universal. He's the executive producer on both Hannah's, the old movie, and the TV show now.
Oh.
And the division that he's taking over is in charge of the ACT, the Umbrella Academy, and other shows. He went to USC. And in 1993, he opened a no alcohol club called Spiral West.
Okay, all of that sounds cool except the last one. Sorry. You had me up until no alcohol.
But imagine my surprise when I Google this guy and it's in news 8 hours ago. Deadline: Scott Neems named executive vice president. I was like, what? This can't be right, and it was totally right.
That's pretty impressive.
Good
Way to
for
go,
you,
way to
Scott.
go. Yeah, way
Yeah.
to go, Scott.
Way to pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Yeah.
Yes. So then we got Steve, who kind of ends up being the main kid instead of Wheelchair. Steve is Jason Hervey, who becomes Wayne, the older brother from the Wonder
this
Years.
is the one kid I recognize.
Yeah. He had a lot of success as that, and then he really leaned into it later during the VH1 retrospective days.
Right.
He was like, yeah, whatever, I'll come make fun of myself. He did a lot of reality shows, whatever. But he's actually super, super successful and rich because he produces specials for WWE. He's a producer for them.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good job.
And then Wheelchair, David Hollander, Tommy Wheelchair. He was in Airplane. And then
Who did he play in Airplane?
I
don't
think he was.
know.
No, I think he was
A
the
little
kid
kid.
who
Was
was
he the kid in the...
you like wrestling?
Oh,
I've
that's
only seen it once.
great.
Yeah, I think that's
I was
him.
hoping he was that kid.
Yeah, and he did a little bit more acting, but he's kind of been all over the place. He was the music supervisor of Black Dynamite. What? He was a researcher for Collateral, the Michael Mann movie.
Okay.
And he
What
was a
is
writer / producer, everything for The Guardian on CBS and other such shows.
I've heard of that show.
Yeah.
No, I
I
haven't.
don't know. I think it was on for 4 or 5 years.
Huh.
It's one of those CBS shows for old people that we've probably never heard of, but made a bajillion dollars. Yeah.
The Guardian.
And then my girlfriend watches all of them.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and so just to wrap up the young boys, we'll talk about Meathead.
Just wrap up the
young
boys.
I didn't mean it like
Grab
that.
over the boys.
The person that is inside the body of Meathead is Felix Sia.
The coolest person in this movie.
Yeah, and he is most famous for being Cousin It in all of the original Addams
That's
Family
awesome.
things. And then the voice was just another one of the kids.
He's also an Ewok.
Yes. Not the Ewok, but
An Ewok.
yeah.
Now, the guy who did the voice, wasn't he also the the male adult dude?
He was
Archie
Jamie.
Hahn? Jamie? Yeah.
Which one's Jamie?
Was he the adult guy with Fanny?
Maybe I
think
couldn't.
he
couldn't
was.
figure out
Yeah, I
what the
think he
names
was.
I think he
were.
was. I
I
think
just
he
knew
was.
he was another guy in the movie that
Yeah.
didn't do
The
any other
voice of
acting
Meathead
after.
is terrible.
Terrible.
Can you
I
do
feel-
an impression of it?
I did earlier at the
Oh,
top of the show.
Hey. Well, sorry guys. Yeah. You want to give me a Big Mac? Big Mac?
Big Mac and me?
Yeah, I'm just here having fun. Oh, yeah, I should probably go practice walking around things.
Oh yeah,
pretty much what it
he
sounded
keeps
like.
walking through doors and through walls and scaring the crap out of them.
I was like, that's all he does is walk through walls, smoke pot, and walk through trees.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he does smoke pot with Flash at one point.
There was
smokes-
a ridiculous scene where
Yes.
he smokes pot.
Yeah. And he gets literally high.
Yeah. So Flash like gets in the room by himself, takes one drag of this, piece of pot. That's what they're called, right?
Yeah. Pass me that piece.
He's got that blunt. He takes one smoke of it. And then all of a sudden, this alien walks through the wall, and he's
Right.
like, "What the fuck? My high as shit right now." And then
The boys have already been like hiding him as part of the cabin for
Right.
like weeks at this point. We find
that
out.
part when he says like, "Yeah, I've been here for weeks." I was like, "What?" I thought this was like the same day.
I know. It made it seem like it was the third day of
No, I was
camp.
like, it certainly felt like weeks so far in this movie.
This scene, I guess, is foreshadowing for later, but I didn't think about that till just now. But he like he doesn't grab the blunt out of his hand. He floats it like again, like it's like we're watching a fucking 3D movie.
Yeah, he's like,
The
give me
blunt
that sticky icky.
comes at the screen, floats around, and lands right in his fingers. And he takes one puff, and his eyes go red.
Like a fucking cool guy.
Yeah.
Like he knows exactly what he's
He
doing.
does. He wanted to try drugs.
Unlike any other time in this movie. He's like totally like, I know Earth customs.
And like Tyler said, he floats a few inches up in the air.
He does.
And then back down.
He gets high.
And that's it. The jig is up. Everyone in the camp knows there's an alien there now, right?
No.
Well, I mean, maybe because he just starts being everywhere with them,
Yeah, and like totally not hiding or
but
anything.
nobody else cares.
They just think there's a gray boy in a rain suit.
Can we talk?
Yeah, they basically do like a ET wannabe thing.
Yeah.
He's got like the head of ET, but like a wider top half of the body. I don't know how to describe him.
He has the head of ET. If like I tried to make ET in my backyard,
Yeah, out of like
Yeah, it's like
Play-Doh.
an elongated.
in an afternoon.
Yeah.
The kids are like, "Hey, meathead, why are you wearing a raincoat?" And he's like, "It's gonna rain. It's about to rain today.
It gonna rain.
It's about to rain today."
It's gonna rain.
It gonna rain.
And then he walks through a tree. This whole we talk about this stupid boomer guy.
No,
I don't care.
No, we can't.
there's a guy
terrible-
named Boomer. There's a guy named Flash. They're both Italian meatheads. One's
Yeah, but
supposedly
Boomer has like mental deficiencies.
Yeah, Boomer's like really bad.
Yeah, but there's a part where they beat him up for being stupid. the whole thing is like this is fucked up because like
This
okay,
movie is so mean spirited.
Well, yeah, it's really fucked up. So they send so okay, in Meatballs 1 during the Olympiad, there's all these fun like the other camp is like sabotaging the games and then
Yeah, they do like
sabotage them
darts
back.
and like, distractions.
No, this one, since it's a military camp, they send one of the guys over to basically murder
this guy.
And the introduction to this
Because Boomer is supposed to be the one boxing.
This is another part that I thought was funny. There's like a third camp counselor at the camp where his introduction is all of a sudden you hear a bunch of gunfire, like pow, 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 pow. And he comes in from outside holding a gun. He's like, I thought I told you kids not to smoke. No smoking in the camp. And he's holding a gun like he just shot at a bunch of kids, which I thought, again, child abuse, but an over the top, ridiculous, unbelievable.
Right.
Here's
the thing is the most frustrating about this movie is you can tell that the writers know what comedy is.
Yeah, every once in a while.
Every once in a while, like it's like they can get a setup for a joke. Like it's like, okay, like I see what's happening here, and they fuck it up every time.
Yeah, and so this guy who's clearly violent gets sent on a mission to, do whatever it takes to take down this dude. And not only does he go by himself, he brings a bunch of kids with him. And the one kid, they're like watching him outside his window, and the one kid like looks like he's got a fucking sniper rifle, and he's like, "You want me to take him out, boss?" or whatever. And they're like, "What do you?" He's like, "Cool it, man, cool it." And he drops a bunch of brass knuckles, which I guess is better, and they like lure him into the bushes and beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be dead, but I guess
And this is all happening at the same time as the counselor's making out, the other guy trying to skinny dip to make out with the girl, the other girl's hiding in the tree to try to see his you-know-what.
Okay, this girl, I don't care if she was homeschooled. She doesn't fucking know what the Big Dipper is at all.
No, she did. She thought they were talking about the stars, literally.
Yeah, but she seemed like
And he
she
thought
didn't
it was
know what
euphemistic.
and she was like, "What? I want
Well,
to
no,
see
yeah.
it."
How
Like,
they set
she's
it up?
never
How
seen
they
it.
set it up? They're just like, yeah. He thinks that they're going skinny dipping. She thinks they're going stargazing.
Yeah, because this other girl has
Hijinks
arranged
ensue.
the whole thing, which I'm like, are they even friends? Because she keeps trying to help her see a penis, but like only in mean ways.
Yeah, and there's this really
Right.
creepy thing about the one girl being proud that she saw her brother's penis or something.
Yeah.
And she's like,
Yeah.
"Wait, isn't he 5?" And she's like, "No, he's 6." And I'm like, "What the fuck is that about? What the fuck is that line about?" What?
I think that the movie is trying to put the hypothesis out there is that 6-year-old had a big dick.
I guess. I just don't get it. I don't get why they had that in there.
Oh, I'm going to regret having that on tape.
But yeah, no, I mean, this girl, what was her name again?
Nancy.
Nancy.
Played by Tammy Taylor, not the character from Friday Night Lights.
She is just like so oblivious about like literally everything.
Yes.
Oh no, that character. That's. I thought you were talking about the mean girl.
Oh no,
The other one is Kim Richards. I don't remember her name in the
the main girl, Kim Rich. Oh, her name is Cheryl. In
Oh
this.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, Cheryl, yeah.
But she's just so like completely oblivious about everything.
Yeah.
That it made like I was just like, what? This is why I thought for sure she was an alien or something.
She escaped Witch Mountain.
Yeah, but then by the end of the movie, it turns out like she's a super good kisser, or at least it looks like it. And I was just like, I don't buy that character doing that thing at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So I just didn't understand her character throughout this entire film. I'm sorry, Kim Richards.
You know what else I don't buy at the end of this movie? A boxing match where a man in a dress flies.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's get to the boxing match because it goes on for it's like a third of the movie.
I love that if you tried to explain this movie to someone who's never seen it, like we're doing right now, you're probably like, they're making this shit up. This movie does not end with a guy in a dress flying around a room, punching a giant dude in the face. And how is he flying? Because aliens.
Yeah. Where while a grown man is trying to kill everybody in the building with,
With
a
a live grenade.
Yeah. No, that's not. This is not a real movie that came out in theaters and made only $5 million. This is not a movie.
So that's surprisingly a lot, though, for this movie.
Gross,
Is that
though.
adjusted or not
That's
adjusted?
not adjusted. But the first movie made $40 million, so it's
Still,
pretty
how
bad.
much could it have cost to make this? Not much.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It didn't seem. It probably not much.
How much is a fuck ton of plaster of Paris in a raincoat?
times three for one scene. Yeah, so we get to the other thing. Okay, this made no sense.
This movie.
Sense. The other mission that this
should be called
violent,
Second Helping.
the other mission that this violent dude gets sent on is to go kidnap someone, and he kidnaps Flash,
Right.
and Flash gets kidnapped. He's over at the other camp, but he's still able to just leave and
He's
come to
naked
the-
because he got kidnapped while skinny dipping. And when he wakes up, the only clothes he can find are Foxglove's office.
But it's just like, so was the only point of that so that he would be wearing a dress somehow?
No, I
at
think
the
it's just so he would be late. And like they thought he wasn't going to show up at all.
It was
but the
more
point was
dramatic
to-
for him to be in a dress and late.
Yeah, I guess. But like, why would they kidnap someone and then make it totally unaware to anyone that he was kidnapped?
Well, they're not going to miss the Champ of the Lake. It's the biggest event of the summer.
Yeah, but I thought the whole point was that they were going to like hold him ransom and try to like make them forfeit the fight or something.
Yeah.
It's the Champ of the Lake, Justin.
Yeah.
Well, he escapes and he puts on a dress because that's so funny.
Yeah, it's real funny.
I thought it was not funny at all.
I just watched this clip of Billy. Is his name Billy Boyd, the guy from American Horror Story, and those Pose.
Billy Boyd, isn't that the guy from Lord of the Rings?
Oh, maybe Billy something. Anyways, Billy Porter. Sorry, and he did this interview where he's like, people like freaked out because I wore a dress to the Oscars and like in a serious way, like not as a joke, it's not like a Trey Parker situation, but
Yeah.
he was basically like, people need to get over it. Everyone can wear whatever they want. He was like, people, you need to face it. Jesus wore a dress. You can call it a robe if you want, but men wore dresses. Like, it was such a good clip. Anyways. So yeah, he's wearing a fluffy black shiny sequined dress.
And then Foxglove's like, "That's mine."
Yeah.
And it's
My
terrible.
dress! Don't get my dress! Yeah, it's just awful.
It's just
awful.
really bad. Yeah.
Also, if that dress fit Flash so well, there's no way it's fitting John Larroquette, who was like extremely tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's fighting this guy called Mad Dog, who apparently only eats raw meat and is held in a cage.
In a cage.
Yeah. Because that's how you know he's good at boxing.
Yeah. It was funny, like, you know, there were some scenes, this guy the whole time is just supposed to be like, I'm going to kill you. And there were some scenes where it looked like he was having a hard time keeping that up.
Yeah, no, he got tired.
Where he's just like,
do I
tired. Still have to be angry at this moment?
And then Flash proceeds to get his ass kicked.
Yeah.
Like, he's not...
It goes on for so long. They're like, we got to
not-
make the movie 90 minutes, like, keep this fight going way more than
It's
it
like
should.
if the whole thing was we got to kidnap him, like, this kid has a chance, like, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, he can't box. He's bad.
And is this how boxing works, Tyler?
No.
If the guy goes down the first round, the bell gets rung, but if he wins the second round, he wins the entire thing? Is that how it works?
No, what they're trying to say is that the round ended, but if it's a youth boxing match and he got knocked down like that, it'd be like, no, this is over.
Also, I'm curious, how many times does someone get uppercut into the air and out of the ring? Does that happen a lot in Vegas, Tyler?
Only once.
There was a part 2 where Flash, because he is so much smaller than Mad Dog, basically just like leaps onto him and holds on, and everyone's like, okay. Like,
Also illegal.
Yeah, there's some stupid line about, like, this is about fighting, not loving, or something.
oh yeah, he says make war, not love.
And then, well, Flash is on his ass. Meathead levitates him.
It's so stupid.
He flies around literally.
Yeah, no, and you think it's just like, oh, it's just helping him get up. It's just helping him get up, and it's like everyone's gonna rally behind him, and he's gonna now fight for his own. But nope, he just starts flying around,
full on like Kathy Rigby, Peter Pan status.
And he's even like making poses like,
yeah, and then just like dashing in to punch this dude in the face, and it's just like
he's
what
not
the
ever
fuck?
once being like, what the fuck is going on? How am I flying? He's just like, yeah, I'm doing this.
And it's unclear if
he's bopping him on the
controlling the flying or if Meathead is. Like, Meathead's clearly levitating him, but it seems like Flash has control of
I think
flying.
they show Meathead using his hand every once in a while.
Oh, okay.
And then the lieutenant sees Meathead, and he's like, aliens, I knew it.
Yeah, like that was a plausible explanation.
And then he goes for a live grenade, and then a wheelchair has
And then
to-
a miracle happens.
That nobody acknowledges in any way.
A miracle.
Meathead's sorry, not Meathead. Wheelchair stands.
He stands up. Okay, I was like, is this something? No, this isn't possible.
Yeah.
He like makes it look like he's just trying to like somehow balance on his legs, but I just don't.
Full on stance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, this isn't right. He stands and falls over.
And he knocks over the grenade, and then Meathead at that point sees the grenade from under the bleachers and levitates it out of the room.
And kills the Colonel. Because if I'm not mistaken, he's not in the rest of the movie, right? Or is
No, he gets taken away in an ambulance.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Sadly, he's not dead. He has a cartoon explosion.
Yeah.
He has to get in a few more homophobic slurs before they take him away.
Oh, right.
And then mercifully, Coach Giddy, Camp Sasquatch gets to endure, and then this movie ends.
Let's go back on Child Star, or just really young adult star, check-in for the boxing match. Eddie, who is Flash's, right-hand man, I guess, or sidekick. I don't know what you'd even call him.
He's in
but-
2 scenes.
Yeah, that's actor Ralph Seymour, and he is the speech and debate and drama teacher at St. Rita's Catholic School, which is about 12 miles from where we are right now.
So
Sierra Madre.
So every day in that class, he's like, when I was in Meatballs Part 2.
Apparently he was in a
didn't have
few
time.
other things, like
okay.
Empire of the Sun, and he had a couple other roles. So,
Okay, fair enough. Was
but
he in
yeah, so
Grease
that's
too?
cool.
Yeah.
The other one, Donald Gibb, who was Mad Dog. I guess he played Ogre in Revenge of the Nerds, which I have not seen, so maybe you know who that is.
Nope.
But he is best friends with the owner of Trader Todd's in Chicago. Have you ever been there?
No.
Okay. Well, anyways, apparently it's a popular Chicago bar.
Best friends with the owner.
Because he frequently...
How did you find out this information?
Because he's always making appearances there, and they're constantly like using him to promote.
Did you
the place.
ask if they're best friends?
He specifically said in an article, "No, I don't own the bar. He's just my best friend."
Oh, okay, there you
Yeah,
go.
or maybe he said good friends. but
Confirmed
close
with
enough.
journalism.
Yeah. And then Flash, John Mangati. He was in a few other movies. I'm not really sure. Maybe he was he produced a couple of things after. But I can tell you that right now, him and his wife, Lisa Nash Jones, who is a makeup artist on The Office and lots of the long-running Disney Channel shows, they have a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom in Eagle Rock that is exactly like the midpoint between my house and your house.
Oh, snap.
So when I was driving here, I went up to the door. No, I didn't do that. I knocked on the door.
Why isn't he here right now? Yet?
I know. No, I did not do that. But
He is.
Oh,
yeah.
here he comes.
it's weird because a lot of times when you're searching for the people's name, if you put the spouse name in, then you get property selling records. So that's why I know
good to
their
know.
home address creepily.
That's good.
That's horrifying. Protect your information out there, people.
All I know is that I was excited that Richard Mulligan was in Oliver and Company. That's all I cared about. He played the Great Dane Einstein.
That's
you
right.
haven't seen the movie.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. And also Misty Rowe, who played Fanny, they forced her to wear a heavily padded bra for the entire movie, so she didn't even really look like that.
Oh, good.
But she was married to a guy that I knew from One Life to Live, the soap opera, and he left her for his co-star from One Life to Live. And I remember when they got married.
That's sad. That's sad.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I have to imagine, when this movie was going on, I was like, oh man, they are the last movie we we didn't talk about it that much, maybe a little bit, but we talked about how the movie was kind of a mess when they were first editing it together, and the trope of the Bill Murray voiceover announcements kind of saved them with all these interludes between scenes and stuff. And this movie, for most of it, I was like, wow, this really feels just like random fucking sketch scenes knit together with no plot or the thinnest of plots.
Well, it felt like a really bad precursor to Wet Hot American Summer.
Yeah.
In a way.
And there was a moment where I was like, oh, wow, they really early on when it's going to be the kids and the alien. I was like, oh, wow, they went super far into this is a kid's movie. But then it forgets about the alien subplot for most of the movie and goes back to this whole Flash and Cheryl and Flash boxing. Is he going to box or is he not going to box? Is he too cool to box?
Is he too cool to box?
Where I'm from, I don't wear gloves to I don't know. What did he say?
He said something about that. We don't get dressed up for a fight.
Yeah. I don't do volunteer work.
Oh, man. Well, let me do the last Child Star check-in because it leads into a game.
Games!
Which I've never
my
made
God.
before, so I finally made one.
The first Eliz game!
Yeah. So the mother and daughter scene, which we talked about, was my personal favorite scene from the movie. Or bit, rather, because I guess it was split up. But the mother was played by Elaine Boozler, who's a pretty famous New York female Jewish comedian. She recently guest starred on the last season of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend as the mom's friend and did a whole number about camp, actually, about summer camp.
Gonna be there?
Yeah, they did a whole song of their summer camp song 50 years later. So that's kind of funny. But the daughter was played by Nancy Glass. And so that brings us to our game, which is called Mr. Sparkle Glass. So Nancy Glass went on to be a television reporter and host for shows like Inside Edition, and she hosted the Miss America pageant. She hosted a bunch of other docu series on other channels. Then she stopped being in front of the camera to go behind the camera. And she started Glass Entertainment Group Productions. And they make a number of shows, reality shows, for channels like Investigation Discovery, A&E, those shows.
Sure.
And so our game today is that I will read you the name of a reality series. And you must tell me if it is a real show produced by Nancy Glass or a fake show from The Simpsons.
Okay.
Man, this game is so obscure. I love it.
Okay,
do
so
it.
I have 5 for each of you. Who
Okay.
wants to go first?
Mr. Simpsons should... No, I'll go first.
Okay.
So you can show me up afterwards.
Okay. Having knowledge of The Simpsons will only be like very, very possibly slight advantage, maybe no advantage at all.
Yeah.
All right, so let's play Mr. Sparkle Glass or Mr. Sparkle Glass. Or
Good old fishbowl.
yes. Okay, so your first reality show title, and you can just say real or fake,
I'm ready.
is Space Pirates.
Real. Oh!
You got that one right.
Wait, what is Space Pirates
I
about?
don't know, but it's a real show.
I was just guessing. It must be real.
I wonder if it's like a realtor, like it's like it's like land, like it's like space,
like
space
as in like an
I don't
area.
think so, because the picture was of space, but I don't know.
Okay,
Anyways.
theory blown to the wind.
Number 2.
To
So
the
that's
space wind.
So that's 1 point. Number 2, Monkey Trauma Center.
Fake.
You're doing pretty good so far. Oh man, maybe this game wasn't as hard as I thought.
Nobody needs to see Monkey Trauma Center.
Okay, your next one is Law and Order.
I'm gonna say real show.
It's a real show produced by Nancy Glass. Okay.
Damn, what's that show about?
It's about aggressive homeowners associations. Your lawn's out of order.
All right, next one is Let's Kill Mom.
That's got to be fake.
Oh, damn it!
That one is real.
What?
Let's Kill Mom.
What?
True crime.
No.
It's real.
It's just about the Menendez brothers.
Is it just a story show where they reenact?
Probably, yeah. It's all
Mom
these are like
killings?
are true crime things.
Oh
All
yes,
right.
the mom killings. Of
And your last
78.
one, number 5, is Tied to a Bear.
Tied to a bear. Fake.
Yeah. All right. Well, you got 4 out of 5, so I guess maybe it's not that hard.
Hey, maybe I
Tyler,
can
had you
win.
recognized any of those from The Simpsons?
I had.
Okay. Then maybe this next round will be extremely easy for you.
Let's find out.
All right. So your first title is When Buildings Collapse.
I feel like that's real.
That is from The Simpsons.
When buildings collapse.
Your next,
Because there's so many shows where they're making fun of Fox. Like,
yeah. Your next one is I Can't Believe They Invented It.
Oh God. That sounds like a Troy McClure thing, so I'm going to say fake.
Yes, that one is fake from The Simpsons. All right, your third one is My Dog Ate What?
That's a real show.
It is real. Have you actually heard of that show?
No.
Oh, okay. It is real.
Damn it.
Next one is The Hunt for Hogzilla.
God damn it. That's a real show.
It is. It's real.
You're like, I want so much for this not to be a real show.
Nancy Glass, man.
I hope I'm wrong, but it's a real show.
All right, and finally, Too Pretty to Live.
Moment of truth.
Simpson show.
That is a real show.
I'm the winner.
Justin won. He got 4 out of 5. Tyler got 3 out of 5.
You get the fishbowl.
I had a tiebreaker prepared, but
What was the tiebreaker? Just for
how
funsies?
many Emmys does Nancy Glass have?
Oh my God.
for reality?
I was going to say Price is Right rules. Closest without going over.
I'm gonna say 3.
7.
It's 6, so Justin wins.
I still win.
So that was our game, Mr. Sparkly Glass. Thank you, Nancy Glass, the daughter who appears in one scene of this movie.
That's so
That's
weird.
a very fun game.
That was
When
good.
I was looking her up, I was like, these titles can't possibly be real.
Which one I thought was going to show up? What was it? It's like Fast Animals, Slow Children.
There were a lot of good Simpsons ones. I had to pick the ones that were at least slightly close to being real. So.
Oh my god.
Well, I guess we're getting to the rating system. For
The
this
movie's
one.
over.
The movie is over. The movie was over
In
before it
case
began.
you guys were worried, at the end of the movie, the song from the beginning comes back. In case you wanted to hear it again. Anyways, go on, Tyler.
How many summer peaches would you give?
I went ahead and gave this movie 2 summer peaches. It was a rough year in the summer, and we only got 2 peaches out of it. Yeah, this movie's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I was hoping that it was going to be like so bad it's good, but it never really quite got there for me. And I mean, I guess there's terrible movies that come out now too, but I was also kind of like, I can't believe this was in theaters. Yeah, you can tell, like Eliz said. I mean, I hadn't read that that this was just this was like an existing movie that they just pasted Meatballs on, but I am entirely not surprised. Yeah, it's just really unfortunate that I'm sure that people, brought their kids to see the first Meatballs and had fun, and I'm sure they were like down to come see the next one, and yeah, sorely disappointed.
Yeah.
It's just like cobbled together a bunch of nonsense. There's like 4 different movies crammed into one movie.
Yeah.
And it just does not work. The comedy is bad, save for like maybe 1 or 2 scenes. And the acting is also just really rough.
Yeah, I also will give it 2 summer peaches. I would have rather had apples. But it was so bad. I mean, it barely feels like there's a plot of a movie at all. It's just more like a bunch of bits kind of stitched together. There's really no character that like has a arc, barely. Like maybe Flash, but not really. Like
Not at all.
yeah.
Not at all.
So it's just really bad, and it's also horribly and stupidly offensive. And whoever came up with that foxglove horrible character.
Yeah, I was like, I know we spent a lot of time talking about the problematic stuff in the last movie, and we maybe didn't spend quite as much time in this movie, but it's because it was just overflowing with so much.
The entire
awful
movie's
stuff.
a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, you
like-
have racial stuff, you have weird like child sex things, you have
Yeah.
child abuse, and then the gay thing is just like, it was like every time these guys are on screen, that was the joke.
Yeah,
and it was the only joke.
I can't
think
recommend
that-
to watch this movie.
yeah,
and
and
there's no going like with this movie. The last movie, I was defending it as
Yeah,
like,
or
it's an
we
old
could
movie.
debate like
Yeah.
what they had intended with that
and
scene.
the reason that
Exactly.
we were talking about it is because there's parts of it that are beloved and like
Right.
people
Yeah.
it's
And this
canon
movie is
in a lot
just
of ways.
it's like completely using these stereotypes only as fodder for awful jokes.
It's entirely disposable. Like I'm gonna give it 1 summer peach, and I think that like this is the experience. I'm not a teacher, although I've done some tutoring and TA work. This is what it's like to have to grade a paper that you can tell that the student put together like his term paper on the bus ride to school that morning. Like it's just like they just scribble down. So like I've seen movies like aliens and boxing and
Unless, of course, you were my teacher,
Aliens and
because I'm great at writing at the last minute.
Yeah.
Let's be real. But yeah, someone who's not a good writer. I'm just kidding.
I mean,
Yeah.
even Rocky gets into robots at
Yeah.
one point, right?
Yeah.
But like it really does feel like I know that you can't make a movie that way. It's not like they shot it all in one day, but it feels that way. Like it feels like, all right, we got a camp for one day. Let's just shoot a bunch of stuff. Like it feels like I've seen 48-hour film projects that are better movies than this.
Well, we were saying like in the last one, at least almost all of the named characters were redeemable. Like it was
Yeah.
only the no-name characters that were like evil. This one, like if anybody out there, if your favorite character is Lieutenant Felix Foxglove and you love that performance, like come over here right now so I can punch you. Like that is the stupidest performance. Like
Yeah.
I can't even.
The one fun thing I saw online was I didn't see a lot of like reactions from people other than being like,
Nobody saw
why did
this
they make
thing.
this movie?
Yeah.
But there was one video on YouTube that for some reason is called Bill Murray is Dead, but it's like the scene. It's the scene where Meathead smokes weed. And the guy who posted it was like in his description was like, my brother maybe watched this when I was a kid, and it fucking terrified me for life. And I was like, I could see that.
I guess so.
This alien is fucking weird, and he's smoking pot, and you don't know what's going on. I could see that being creepy as hell.
There's only 2 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, and one from the New York Times is pallid writing, awkward acting, familiar situation, and tired jokes make the morons, wimps, and losers of Meatballs Part II easy to pass up.
Yeah, there was one place where I saw this listed as a cult classic, and I was like,
I know, yeah, I saw that too. I'm pretty sure that review meant the morons, wimps, and losers. He was talking about the people that made the movie, not the characters.
But I can't believe that this movie is just available to stream on Prime Video. but like I had a kind of a little bit of a hard time finding a trailer for this movie, and almost resorted to putting one that was in a foreign language and just trying to pretend we knew what was going on. But I did find a TV spot, but it was just like I had to dig a little bit more than usual. So yeah, I just can't recommend this movie. I feel like this. Correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys remember differently, but is this the sharpest fall from the first movie that we've had on the podcast so far? I feel like it's pretty steep.
I think it's pretty steep.
Yeah, from first like, to second, it may be. Yeah.
Especially, the role that Meatballs plays in like the
popular culture.
Yeah, the creation of like a genre.
And I can't believe they made more after this.
Yeah.
No, me neither.
I mean, and maybe it's just more summer camp movies with Meatballs slapped on. That's like very, very real possibility.
I think it's one of those like perfect storms of like the title didn't mean anything anyway, so like it's not like sacred to the movie. It's just like whatever.
Just gonna keep trying over and over to dupe people into thinking that Bill Murray might be in the movie.
I mean, it is weird that it's called, that it was like just a thing that already existed because the alien's name is like so almost close, like it fits kind of, I guess, because his name is Meathead and it's called Meatballs. It's just really weird. Very strange.
It's barely a movie, and it is not worth the film that it was printed on.
No.
Yeah, well, lucky for us, there's another 2 movies after this. And first up is a movie so good that is currently only available on VHS. That seems like a great sign. Great sign for us. It's called Meatballs 3 Summer Job. And it only comes out 2 years later, 1986. So I have got absolutely no idea what to expect from this movie other than probably more awful jokes.
Yeah.
God, I hope that
this movie is our summer job.
That's right.
And while we're doing it, Eliz, where can people reach out to us to tell us their own camp stories?
Just to be clear, we are mostly gainfully employed.
Yeah, this is our only summer job.
Yeah. Please email us to sequelrights@gmail.com with your camp stories, your camp photos, anything. Your thoughts on this movie?
The last time you flew around a boxing ring.
Yeah. The pictures of you in your elementary school production of Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then find us on social media, on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Sequel Rights, especially you, John Larroquette. Reply to me.
And rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. All those are great, and reviews are appreciated.
And thanks to my brother for the music at the top of the show. We'll see you guys next week. In the meantime, we will be filling out our applications for our summer job and hoping to land a job at Meatballs 3.
We've been waiting for the summer all year long, waiting for the summer to sing this song about the swimming